We are not going to be engaged in polemics with Helen Zille.
Hello there, guys, and welcome to Daily Updates. The utterances of Helen Zille are really putting the government of national unity in trouble. Well, yesterday, Helen Zille had a lot to say about the ANC and the process leading up to the negotiations of the government of national unity. If you really have to put it simple, Helen Zille is disrespecting the ANC. But anyway, she had a lot to say about the ANC, and today Fikile Mbalula responded to some of the utterances during a media briefing of the ANC. But to really understand the whole situation better, let us first look at the video of Helen Zille speaking about the ANC.
The ANC does its polling and it knows that its trump card is Cyril Ramaphosa. If they lose Cyril Ramaphosa, they will go down, if they're lucky, to 25% or 20%. And so they've lost Jacob Zuma, etc. But the idea is to somehow bring Jacob Zuma back into the fold, and Jacob Zuma was very clever. He never resigned his ANC membership, but he's now been kicked out. So he's now out, and the EFF is now out, and the only risk that they would find is if the ANC plummeted and then went into a coalition with the EFF and the MK. But I think most people in the ANC understand what that would actually mean for South Africa's economy. One of the strongest things that we had in the negotiation, the strongest lever the DA had by far, was the value of the rand. Every time things were going well, the rand went up, 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 up. Every time things went badly, the rand plummeted. The bond market was exactly the same. It was extraordinary. I've tracked the value of the rand against the timeline of the negotiations, and it's an absolute correlation. Once, I think it was on the 11th of June, when we were supposed to have a negotiation, the ANC just didn't rock up. And we waited the whole day and they didn't come. So I just told a journalist, and they wrote about it in the newspaper the next day. The rand, right down. Now, I didn't do that to get the rand down. I do that to say to the ANC, don't mess us around, you know. Don't mess us around. If you say you're coming, we want to see you. And Tony Leon was so funny. He sat there with his book, and he marked every time anyone was late for anything on his book. So I'm sure he's going to write another book about these negotiations, and there you will see what time every single meeting started and who was late and how late they were. Tony was very funny about that. I mean, Rise, Mzansi, is a white party. They only get white voters. They have a couple of people here and there. In Cape Town, we analysed the vote. Rise did well in Rondebosch and Camps Bay and Constantia, and they got 0 votes in Khayelitsha. This is the party that hasn't got a ceiling, you see. It's a white party.
After Helen Zille had a lot to say about the ANC, more like really disrespecting the ANC, Fikile Mbalula got the opportunity to really respond to Helen Zille. And during a media briefing that was held today, Fikile Mbalula responded to Helen Zille by saying the following.
That's Yanenga. No Zille Simnengi. If she wants to leave the GNU, she can leave. And that is it. We are a leading party. We are the largest party. We are the biggest expression of the will of the people. We are not going to be engaged in polemics with Helen Zille and whoever wishes to do so. If they want to engage in that terrain, they can go on their own, but Assisi, we are not coming to engage in polemics and about who leads, who doesn't lead. The question is, can the ANC do better with the 40% and the leadership it has had in terms of safeguarding power and leading the people of South Africa and doing the right thing? The country is stable, that is the reality. Everything is on track, government is running. That's what is important for us. The reason we are meeting here is to ensure that we consolidate that power and we deepen the National Democratic Revolution. What is the National Democratic Revolution? It is redress, to continue that work within government and deliver for the people of South Africa. And that's what our government is going to do. You ask about NHI, you ask about Bella Bill. We want those things to happen and to happen as they've been signed into law. There are challenges. It wouldn't have stopped even if there was no GNU. DA and others wouldn't have stopped. And they are not going to stop. And stop being irritated by Zille every time he says he wants to see the ANC dead. That is his job. That is a job. And the DA, like all others who want to see the ANC gone, they say they eat the elephant piece by piece. But the elephant is not out.
So we have listened to the utterances of Helen Zille and Fikile Mbalula, and actually the same utterances prompted the EFF to release a statement saying that they've always believed that there is no GNU, but rather a coalition between ANC and the DA. Helen Zille, by going and saying that the DA and ANC relationship is a coalition rather than GNU, is really a problem, because the utterances always going in public and saying a lot, like she's been given the platform to say whatever she wants, and she goes to disrespect the ANC, talking about the rent going up and down, as if we don't know that there are suggestions that the rent is being manipulated by the white monopoly capital. A lot is going on, and really, Helen Zille is exposing the relationship, is exposing that little relationship that started between the ANC and the rest of the parties, the government of national unity. What was the point for Helen Zille to go on public and say what she's saying? It is really confirming to a lot of people that the DA believes that they are in charge. They are running around making sure that they are the leaders. It is basically a disregard for the ANC and disrespect. You look at it, Fikile Mbalula does come and say that they are not going to back Helen Zille. If she doesn't want to be part of the GNU, she can go. I mean, really, Fikile Mbalula is right. What really prompted Helen Zille to go and speak like that about the ANC? Disrespecting Ramaphosa. I mean, she's putting Ramaphosa on the cross, saying that Ramaphosa is the only person that really they are controlling. Because it's more like he is the one they are controlling. They know what to press for Ramaphosa to do whatever they want, because it's more like the DA sat down with Ramaphosa. Had it not been for Ramaphosa, there would not be GNU. Really, Helen Zille. I mean, a federal chairperson of the DA really going on public saying what she's saying. It is only fair for the Secretary General to come and respond to Helen Zille. And it was really fitting for him to respond the way he responded, because the way Helen Zille is doing, I do not see GNU really running smooth. They've been saying that the minister of DA, the DA minister, whenever they say something about their ministers, instead of saying the minister in the governance of national unity, they refer to their ministers as DA minister. You can really see that for the DA, it's not about the relationship. It is more about we are finally in charge, we are finally in power. The utterances about the rent, such reckless utterances, speaking about the rent going up and down. We know the issue of the rent, how it has been manipulated. Now we are being told about how the rent was going up and down based on the negotiation, based on the positive feedback or negative feedback. Helen Zille is reckless. She has done this before. She's doing it again. She really needs to be careful for the GNU to run smooth. The ANC probably regrets going into GNU with the DA, because now they can see that we are going to have a problem. We are going to have a problem, a big problem. Helen Zille, Tony Leon. These people were in a meeting recording and saying that the ANC is not in the meeting by this time. We record. She even says he's probably going to write a book about the lateness and the drama that occurred during the negotiations. ANC needs to wake up. They cannot let DA disrespect them the way Helen Zille has been doing. They are the biggest in the GNU. DA is the second. You cannot have a second party disrespecting you in public. Let them go disrespect each other in the meetings. But to do that in public, you really don't want to see yourself in government in the next 2 years. That which Julius Malema said about the fact that I don't see them going to 2 years. Helen Zille is running after it, is making sure that they don't reach 2 years, because if she's serious about the whole GNU, she's going to tone down on her disrespect and criticism of the ANC. Let them work and put aside whatever differences they have, because this is very important for the government of South Africa, not even the GNU, for the people of South Africa. We want to see change, but how are we going to see change if people are throwing stones at each other? At this moment, you don't even have 5 months, but already you are speaking ill of each other. They need to be careful, the DA. They need to tone down. Let Zille tone down. Let her go back and monitor the progress of the DA and leave those politics of the GNU so that things can run smooth. Anyway, guys, I thank you for tuning into the channel. The best thing you can do is just to click the subscribe button and probably the notification bell. And until next time, cheers.